Good morning everyone. Today we will discuss about nervous tissue that is a part of the chapter animal tissue. The main objectives of this video will be to know what is nervous tissue, types of cells that are present in nervous tissue, structure of neuron, neuroglial cells, types of neuron and neuroglial cells, and what is the function of nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is the term for groups of organized cells in the nervous system, which is the organ system that controls the body's movements, sends and carries signals to and from the different parts of the body, and has a role in controlling bodily functions such as digestion. The neurons are highly specialized cells and forms the nervous system that includes central, peripheral, and autonomic nervous systems. Neurons have two special properties that enable nerves to carry out their two main functions. These are excitability or irritability and conductivity. Excitability or irritability means they can be stimulated to produce an impulse, that is action potential, that is a tiny electrical current. Conductivity means neurons are also able to transfer an impulse along the full length of their axons and then on to the other neurons, muscles or glands. Nervous tissue is composed of two types of cells, neurons and glial cells. Neurons are responsible for computation and communication that nervous system provides. They are electrically active and releases chemical signals to communicate between each other and with target cells, whereas glial cells or glia cells or neuroglia are much smaller than neurons and play a supporting role for nervous tissue. Glia cells maintain the extracellular environment around the neurons and improve signal conduction in neurons and protect them from pathogen. A neuron varies in shape and size depending upon their function and location. All neurons have three different parts: dendrites, cell body, and the axon. Dendrites. These are small cytoplasmic extensions of the cell body of a neuron. They are also known as afferent processes. These are the branch-like structures that receives messages from other neuron and allows the transmission of these messages to the cell body. Then is cell body, that is also known as soma or perikinion. Each neuron has a cell body with the nucleus, Golgi body, Nissls granules, neurofibrils, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria and other components. Exon. Exon is a large cytoplasmic extension of a cell body of a neuron. Exon is a tube-like structure that carries electrical impulse from the cell body to the axon terminal that passes the impulse to the another neuron. Synapse. It is a chemical junction between two neurons. Nucleus that contains genetic material including informations of cell development and synthesis of proteins necessary for cell maintenance and survival. It is covered by a membrane called nuclear membrane. Then is nucleolus that is present in the cell body and it produces ribosomes necessary for translation of genetic information into protein. Nissl bodies, as we people have already discussed, these are the small fragments of rough endoplasmic reticulum that helps in protein synthesis. Endoplasmic reticulum of the cell body is a system of tubes for transport of material within the cytoplasm. Golgi apparatus is a membrane-bound structure important in packaging peptides and proteins of the neuron. Microfilaments or neurotubules. These are the system of transport for materials within a neuron and may be used for structural support. Mitochondria produces energy to fuel cellular activities. All these structures are present in cell body of neuron. Now, what is the difference between axons and dendrites? Axons take information away from the cell body. That is the reason they are called as efferent processes of the neuron. Whereas dendrites, they take information to the cell body of a neuron. That is the reason they are called as afferent processes of the neuron. Axons have smooth surface, whereas dendrites have rough surfaces. Axons, generally they are one in number per cell, whereas dendrites are many per cell. In axons, there is no ribosomes, whereas dendrites contain ribosomes. Axons are basically elongated processes, whereas dendrites are small. Axons can be enclosed by myelin sheath, whereas dendrites are never enclosed by myelin sheath. Axons may branch further from the cell body. Dendrites branches near the cell body. Types of neurons. Neurons are further divided into four major types that includes unipolar, bipolar, multipolar and pseudo-unipolar. Unipolar neurons are the neurons which have only one structure that is extending out from the soma or cell body, whereas in case of bipolar neuron, there are two structures that are extending out from the soma or cell body. In case of multipolar neurons, it contains one axon and many dendrites. As you can see here, this is a multipolar neuron. Number of dendrites are coming out of the soma along with one axon. In case of pseudo-unipolar neurons, they have a single structure that extends from the soma which later branches and appears like it is having two branches, but it is a single branch. That is the reason it is called as pseudo-unipolar. Depending upon the covering sheath, nerve fibers, they are further of two types: myelinated neurons or myelinated nerve fibers and non-myelinated nerve fibers. An axon covered by myelin sheath is called myelinated or medullated nerve fiber, whereas an axon which is without myelin sheath is called as non-myelinated or non-medullated nerve fiber. In case of myelinated nerve fiber, the axon of the neuron is enclosed by two layers, that is neurilemma and myelin, whereas in case of non-myelinated nerve fiber, the axon is enclosed by a single layer called as neurilemma. The myelin contains lipids, proteins and waters. In case of myelinated nerve fibers, nodes of Denver are present, whereas in case of non-myelinated nerve fibers, nodes of Denver are absent. That is the reason in case of myelinated nerve fiber, there is no chance of leakage of nerve impulse and the transmission of nerve impulse is fast. Whereas in case of non-myelinated nerve fiber, there is a chance of leakage of nerve impulse. Along with that, the speed of the conduction of nerve impulse is also slow. Nerves. A nerve is a complex bundle of nerve fibers enclosed together by a common sheath of connective tissue along with the blood vessel. Each nerve fiber is covered by a thin sheath of connective tissue called endoneurium. A number of nerve fibers, each covered by its own endoneurium, are joined together to form a bundle of fasciculus or fascicle. According to the nature of fiber, nerve can be of following three types. It can be sensory, motor or mixed. Sensory nerves or afferent nerves. These nerves bring sensory impulses or excitation from different parts of the body and sense organs, whereas motor or efferent nerves are the nerves that carries message from central nervous system to parts of the body and effector organs to perform their function. Mixed nerves are the nerves that contains both sensory as well as motor nerve fibers. Neuroglia. The neuroglia or glial cells are supporting cells which forms a packaging system around the neurons of the brain, spinal cord and ganglia. These cells have different shapes and many processes. Neuroglia cells have various roles like myelin formation, transport of material to neurons, maintenance of ionic balance and phagocytosis. Neurosecretory cells. These are specialized neurons or neuron-like cells that secretes biologically active substances that are effective in other structures, often at different sites. The neurosecretory cell occur in hypothalamus. They produce hormones like neurohormones. Types of glial cells and their function. The glial cells or neuroglia can be broadly classified into two variants. Microglia, that are phagocytic cells, they engulf pathogen, thus serves as a defense role within the nervous system. Further, it has flexible shapes. Its form tends to keep changing, mainly after it has engulfed a foreign body. They are present throughout the brain and spinal cord. Macroglia. Macroglia are larger neuroglial cells that are present in the nervous system. Moreover, they may be further divided into 7 variants based on their functions and locations. The first one is astrocyte. The astrocytes get their name from astro meaning star and cyte meaning cells. Thus, they are star-shaped cells found in the central nervous system. They provide structural integrity. They fill up the spaces between neurons. Moreover, they also have tiny little feet called the perivascular end feet. They wind around the blood vessels, ones that constitutes the blood-brain barrier. These barriers protect the brain. It blocks any undesirable substance from entering via vasculature. Further, astrocytes also conduct the metabolite exchange. It is between the neuron and blood vessels. Oligodendrocytes. Oligodendrocytes are the glial cells that are present in central nervous system. They help in making the myelin sheath, which encloses the neurons of the nervous system. Then is ependymal cells. Ependymal cells are of 3 variants. Thus, they are ependymocytes, tanycytes, and chondrial epithelial cells. Radial glial cells. The radial glial cells are found in the central nervous system. They provide a temporary support structure. They do so for new neurons to latch onto. Schwann cells. Schwann cells are like counterparts to the oligodendrocytes, but they are present in the peripheral nervous system instead. Just like them, the Schwann cells also helps in making the myelin sheath. Then it's satellite cells. Satellite cells are found in peripheral nervous system, and further their main function is to maintain a stable chemical environment. The functions of neuroglia. It offers essential nutrients to the neurons that also include oxygen. Next, it also helps to create the myelin sheath, as oligodendrocytes and Schwann cells are responsible for the synthesis of myelin sheath, which is having important role in functioning of nervous system. It promotes the speed of electrical impulse. Further, it also helps to maintain homeostasis within the neurons. Homeostasis is how a cell maintains a stable internal environment despite disturbances. It destroys pathogen, it helps to protect the neuron. Finally, it also provides structural stability. It forms a support structure that the neurons can inhabit. Functions of nervous system. Neurons, as the part of nervous system, generate and carry out nerve impulses. They produce electrical signals that are transmitted across distances. They do so by secreting chemical neurotransmitters. Neurons also helps to respond to various stimuli. Nervous system carries out communication and integration. Along with this, nervous system also provides electrical insulation to nerve cells and remove debris. Nervous system carries message from one part of the body to other part of the body. I think nervous system topic is clear to you people. Thank you everyone.